Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform you all on a crisis that can be averted with your help. And this crisis is voting suppression. Voting suppression is something that is destroying the system of government. And we as the people of this nation must stop it. But before I tell you about the modern voting crisis, I would like to give you guys some quick history. 65 years ago, people of color were hung for trying to vote. If it's worth taking away someone's life, then it must have been important. In August 1922, members of the Ku Klux Klan flew over Oklahoma to drop flags in the black neighborhoods to warn them about going to the polls or they will be beat. The KKK suppressed black people by threatening their lives. These white terrorists threatened black candidates, attacked African American voters, pushed black leaders out of office, and toppled Republican governments. Now that I've told you some history about voting suppression, I would like to tell you the things we face when it comes to this modern voting crisis, which is fortunately very different from the hardships we used to face back then. In May 2017, Donald Trump established the Presidential Advisory Commission on Election Integrity for the purpose of preventing voter fraud. And it was later pulled. But the time it existed, people have suggested its true purpose was voting suppression. The commission was led by Kansas Attorney nominee Chris Kobach, who was a strong advocate of voting ID laws, an enemy of minorities, and a supporter of the interstate cross-check system, which is a database designed to match people in check for previous convictions. Within hours of the decision, Texas announced a strict new voter ID law. Mississippi and Alabama shortly afterward started enforcing similar laws that previously been banned. These decisions added a layer of severity to a voter access crisis that was made by state laws that prohibited 6 million Americans with past convictions from voting. This is modern day voting suppression, which is terrifying, which is why voting is important. The solution to this problem is quite simple. Use your votes wisely. Making it count is the best way to ensure that this voting crisis stops. Take time to make your decision. Look at their past, see if they have the experience to run our government. Steer clear from poorly designed bots like the Russians made and fake news on the internet that try to persuade you negatively. Vote with your heart and with your head, not just with your hands. Voting wouldn't just stop voting suppression, though, but helps us choose able leaders who have qualities in them that could be beneficial for the growth of the country. The power of voting can be very useful in getting things related to public welfare done perfectly. It creates a sense of responsibility in the leaders. A democracy is a system of government that lets the people decide, which is why your vote counts. It is a combination of everyone choosing something for a greater cause, a better leader. I have told you the crisis that is plaguing this country. I have told you the history about voting suppression. I have told you the solution to this terrible crisis. I have shared with you the terrors we face today with this crisis. So now, in conclusion, I would like to give you some important and hopefully memorable closing remarks.
What is he doing?
Voting suppression cannot be allowed in a country designed to create unity, in a country that we are allowed to be free. We can't let this nation go back to its old and ugly roots. It is our part, the people's part, to save this glorious but tarnished nation. Thank you for your time.